Hello and welcome to the first video in our tutorial series. This series will introduce you to the main components of the ExpressWAHPz system, allowing you to get the most out of your subscription easily and quickly. Now we're actually basing this series on the development of silvercandy.com, which is a real website for a real ExpressWAHPz client. This will hopefully provide far more value than a series of mock exercises that don't have any connection to the real world. So let's start with an introduction to the system itself. On screen right now is pretty much what you will see after you create your ExpressWAHPz account. Clearly this site needs some content. However, a key thing to note already is that the site has a comprehensive set of pages and follows a structure that you can find on most typical business websites. Home, products, testimonials, about, frequently asked questions, contact, and latest news or blog. Management of the content and structure itself is done via expresswahpz.com/manager, which we can see here. Actually, before we go any further, it's worth mentioning at this stage that parts of this manager system rely on JavaScript, and a handful of clients have reported issues with uploading pictures using Internet Explorer. I can thoroughly recommend installing right now Google's free browser Chrome, so that may actually save you a bit of time instead of trying to chase shadows with the Internet Explorer issues. Okay, so to access the system, simply type in the username you selected and the password you were given at sign up. So I'm going to log in with Silver Candy. You will now find yourself taken to the main dashboard page of the manager system. On the main dashboard page itself, we've got some key information. We've got a little welcome message, we've got some information about getting started, and then across the top we've got a series of buttons that are just basically access points into what are probably the most common areas that you're going to be working with on an ongoing basis. So they're just shortcuts to be a bit of a time saver for you. The menu down the left provides access to all aspects of the site, and the items are generally arranged into logical groupings. So we have My Account. This is where you manage details such as name and address and change your password information. We have My Site. This is where we have the basic settings of the site. We set up some default search engine optimization, things like the meta tags for descriptions and keywords. So you may have encountered those. You may have seen a lot of people trying to sell you search engine optimization services. And we have custom styling. That's really where we go about creating a look and feel that matches your branding. The My Content section is pretty much where all of the content is defined. We've got pages, we have articles which are standalone pages, the latest news, testimonials, featured images, and the sidebar. Don't worry too much about what each of these do. We will be exploring these in future tutorials. The product manager area, where we define categories and product items. And then the last section is useful resources, which is where we'll be able to find out how you can access support, get tips and updates and tutorials and other resources that may or may not be useful to you. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll just make a start on going through the initial stages. When you first log in, probably the first place you will go to is the My Account area under Account Details. Now you probably want to check here, you see you've got your username, the kind of account you've got when you first sign up. That'll be a free basic account. When you upgrade, if you upgrade to standard or premium, it'll be showing here. We should have your name here, your email address, contact phone number, address information. The change password area, similar layout of screen, very simple. You will have had a system generated password emailed to you. You may want to change that for something that's a bit more meaningful. So just type the password into here, confirm it in here, and then you click the update. We get into the site settings. Again, fairly straightforward. The screen layouts are going to be fairly familiar to you once you've worked with this system for a few times. That's deliberate. Obviously, a bit of consistency there helps you get up to speed with it faster. In the site details, we're really defining business name and slogan. Probably use more than anything else on the default template to display this information on the top left hand side. The PayPal address, now that's going to become important if you're using the integrated mini cart system. Again, that'll be explained later, but basically if you're wanting to use the integrated support for shopping and e-commerce on your site, then putting in a valid PayPal address here will enable you to take payments. And this store currency, this relates to the same integrated cart, the actual and the prices that you're going to be showing on your website. And these final two options, Facebook and Twitter. Basically, the first one is the full URL of a Facebook page that you want to go to, or a profile. So it could be a business fan page, or it could actually be a personal profile or a business profile. The formats are different depending on various criteria in Facebook, so we require you to put in the full URL there. Twitter is a little bit more, if you've got a Twitter account, it's a bit more standardized. We'll just have your username. Once you're happy with that, you can just click on Update Site Details. And you should get notification at the top here that everything was okay. Then we go down to the SEO details. Now, basically, this is for setting up, rather the first two options here are for setting up defaults. So if I've got a page on the site and I've forgotten to put in a description, I've forgotten to put in the keywords, it'll be filled with whatever is set in the default. Basically, page description and page keywords, but generally speaking, it's information that's picked up by search engines such as Google, and basically those keywords and that description can then be matched or cross-matched with the actual content in your web page, and using all kinds of algorithms. Google will basically determine how relevant your page is to certain keywords. So yeah, this is all very clever stuff. It's the kind of thing that you probably want to get into, or may want to get into as you develop your site further and wish to develop your business. So for the time being, just know that you can put these defaults here, and in most cases, in the early days of a website, you probably just have those defaults and let that come through to all pages. The custom header field is very specific. In the Google Webmaster Tools, basically, again, we'll cover that in another tutorial, but basically, in order to access those, Google require you to do one of 2 or 3 different things to prove that you actually own the website that you've registered. One of the ways that you can do that is to insert a tag into the header of the HTML file, and so basically when you get into that, there'll be a line of code. You can copy that from Google, paste it into here, and then Google will be able to verify that that site is actually, that you have access to it as an administrator. And in the final area, tracking code, this relates to Google Analytics or any other third-party analytic provider, basically for traffic analysis. Again, we'll cover that in another tutorial, but you can basically get the code from any of these services, and they'll want you to paste it into your web pages, and this is a place that we provide here, so that code can be surfaced in every single page of your website. And once you've completed this, again, big green button to update. So now we'll basically finish this session. This will probably be filled out by us, but it's going to be of interest to anybody that's got experience with custom style sheets, or basically able to create their own graphical designs. Maybe if you're somebody who's working with small businesses and you want to help them get their web presences set up, then you could be doing this rather than relying on Avalax. So it's probably of interest to some. The vast majority of clients will see this there, probably won't interact with it. But it's fairly straightforward. Basically, we're starting off with this standard default look and feel. It's all very pleasant to look at. It's a nice structure. It's a nice layout, but it's not going to set the world on fire. In the case of Silver Candy, we're basically a full page web graphic design that's then been loaded up into an editor, and we've basically created these slices. So this is the header slice. This is a body slice that's going to be repeated down the middle, and this is your footer. So these are basically the components that go into the graphical design. And then we've got this area for style overrides, and this is really where we can get into tweaking the base style sheet information. We can position menus and basically change fonts and set paddings and layouts and so on and so forth. What basically happens with this is that if we now go and click on update style information, okay, so the custom style information has been updated successfully. If we switch now to the actual website, we'll press refresh. Now we find that instead of our standard looking default theme, so this website now is already starting to look like Silver Candy's own. Obviously there's been no content added at this stage, but we've still got that structure, and now we're actually set within the context of a custom look and feel. And that's really about all for now. Thanks for your time in watching this. In the next video in this series, what we'll do is we'll look at setting out the basic structures of a website and really getting things, preparing, knowing what sort of information you need, and putting it together in order to start adding real content and getting the overall structure for your site up and running. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and best of luck with your own website.